Okay. Sorry. Okay, we're holding on the top of 71. Ayin Aleph. It starts with the word gufa, right? Okay. Thank Hashem that we're able to learn Torah every day. It's supposed to be learning this in English. Immediately. Thank you. Right. So it says like this, Kufa. Kufa means that we're going to go back to analyze something that was stated before by Amirayim. What was the statement that we said before in passing, and now we're going to analyze it? The statement was, I'm Rav Yehuda Shmuel. Rav Yehuda says the name of Shmuel. Rav Yehuda is a student of Shmuel. He says, Kol haratzis isal Eretz Yisrael. Eretz Yisrael isal Bavel. All the lands are considered a mixture. That means like not perfectly pure. In relationship to Eretz Yisrael, Eretz Yisrael is much purer in lineage than the other lands. And Eretz Yisrael is Yisrael Bavel, and Eretz Yisrael, relative to Bavel, is considered also a mixture. Now, this Bavel is the most pure. Then comes Eretz Yisrael, then comes the other land. I'm sorry, Bavel is the most pure. Then comes Eretz Yisrael, and then comes the other land. Rashi has another pshat over here that Isa means that it's like the what's squeezed out from the grapes. It's not what's squeezed out. It's what's remained after what's squeezed out. It's the what do you call that stuff? The pulp. Okay. Me Rebbe Bikshalasis Babel Isal Eretz Yisrael. In the days of Rebbe, they decided that they're going to examine families that come from Babel. They said, well, Eretz Yisrael is much more pure. So if someone from Babel wants to marry in, we have to check their lineage. And how do you check the lineage? You have to go back to 4 grandmothers or whatever. There's a whole way of checking, because they were saying that basically Babel is not as pure as Eretz Yisrael. So Amalahem, Rebbe says to these people, he says, what are you putting thorns in between my eyes? Because Rebbe is a descendant of Hillel Habavli. Hillel was from Babylonia, right? Hillel, Shimon, Gamliel, Shimon, and Rebbe, right? So he's a descendant of Hillel that comes from Babel, and it's saying basically that Babel's lineage isn't perfect. So, if you want, Yitapel Imachem Reb Chanina Bar Chama, let Reb Chanina Bar Chama deal with this. He'll take care of this. So we're going to ask now Reb Chanina Bar Chama. Reb Chanina Bar Chama is a student of Rebbe. It says Nitfal Imam Reb Chanina Bar Chama. Reb Chanina Bar Chama.
The whole thing of Yisrael Israel is all about. It's not about.
Yeah, it's just about checking
but probably before the first Korban. So.
And then what happened, the way that Babel was purified was because Ezra took every shaila that there was and he brought it to Eretz Yisrael. So Ezra went through all the families of Babel and removed all the questionable people and said, "Come with me to Israel." So left Babel
and just for the
pure.
So in which era are they talking about this? Because now this is after Korban by Sheni.
Yeah, after the Korban by Sheni.
Ezra was after Korban by Rishon.
Right. So all of that time, there's still there are a lot of marriages that took place that could have messed things up. But okay, so Nitfal Imam Reb Chanina Bar Chama Amalehem. Reb Chanina Bar Chama joins them and he says, Kach makablanim Reb Yishmael Bar Yasi Mishamar Mishamaper. This is what I heard from Yishmael Bar Yasi. Yishmael Bar Yasi was a chavrusa of Rebbe, and that says the name of his father. That said the name of his father, Rabbi Yasi, right? They're both Rabbanim in the city of Tzipori. It says, Kol haratzis Yisrael Eretz Yisrael Eretz Yisrael Yisrael Bavel. Can't do this. All lands are like mixed, confused compared to Eretz Yisrael. And Eretz Yisrael is a mixture compared to Bavel, which means Bavel is much more pure when it comes to lineage. Okay, that was the response that I guess Rebbe didn't want to say it himself because he was associated with that. So Rabbi Bar Chama said it. What is it? Dough. Dough. Isa means a dough, but it means a mixture. A mixture. The dough is a mixture of flour and water. Well, Meir Pinchas. This is a later generation of Pinchas. Bikshal says Bavel Yisrael. They wanted to do the same thing. They wanted to say that Bavel is not as pure as Eretz Yisrael. Amalahem la'avadav. So Reb Pinchas says to his servants, says I'm going to say two things in the base medrash, but as soon as I utter it, Taluni Barisa Vrutza, put me on a stretcher and run. Okay, obviously this is going to be like controversial. It's not going to scream fire. Ki ayel amalahem, when he comes in, he says like this. He says, "Ein shchita life min haTorah." According to the Torah, you don't have to shech birds. Okay, that's a surprising statement, but the Gemara in Chulin discusses what's the pshat in that. Adi Yasru Kamainiba, while they're sitting and they're discussing this chiddush, so they're a little distracted. So Amar Lahu, he says to them, all the lands are considered impure when it comes to lineage compared to Israel. And Israel is considered impure compared to Bavel. It means Bavel is the perfect lineage and Israel is not. Natlu Barisa Varutza, they put him on a stretcher and they ran. Ratzu Acharav, they ran after him. Blaigiu, they didn't catch up to him. Yashvu Ubadku, but when they started to examine, because he said that the families in Israel don't have perfect lineage, so they started to look into different families. And they Adshigiu Sakana, till it became dangerous, because they started to do investigations into families of powerful people, and they decided that this isn't worth it. To hire private investigators to examine. People start getting upset. Okay. Yeah, so he took all of the people that had the questions and he brought them to Israel. That's how he unmixed. He removed them.
Percentage
it says 42,000 came out of Bavel. 360. 42,360. 42,360. That's the amount of people. 42,360.
Really
What do you mean? 42,000 where people came, and amongst them were all the problems. So that means they extracted all the problem cases from Eretz Yisrael. They brought it from Bavel and they brought it to Eretz Yisrael. This would be what the professor was talking about, the Virginia colony. They brought all the problems from England. They brought them over here.
They opened the prisons, sent those people of all kinds, right? They established coats of arms.
Right. They did the same in Australia, I'm sure.
There's like also a lot of Zionists.
Yeah. Also very ideological people. Not necessarily.
Well, now it's not the case.
Right. Rabbi Yechanan says Hechala means the Heichal, like the Beis Hamikdash, which is an expression that means an oath. It says I'm taking an oath. B'yadeinu, where we have the ability to examine and investigate the different families Aval ma'aseh shrei gedolei adar nitma, but what should I do? Because the great people of the generation are already mixed in, and it's
In their lineage.
in their lineage. It's difficult to start getting involved in this. Savala Rabbi Yitzchak, he holds like Rabbi Yitzchak, Rabbi Yitzchak mishpacha shenitma, nitma. Rabbi Yitzchak says that a family that's already been like mixed in to the other people, even though there was a doubt, and it's like it's considered in. You just leave it alone. You don't start doing investigation. You don't dig deep. Well, Amar Abaya, Afanana Mitanina. We have even a brisa that says this. The brisa says it's a Mishnah. Tanina could be a Mishnah or brisa. Mishpachas Beis Trifa is Beis Yardik. There was a family called Beis Trifa. They lived on the other side of the Jordan. Richka Ben Sion Bezraya, and there was someone Ben Sion that distanced them by force. How did he do that? He announced that there's a problem in their family. Aida Cheres, I said there was another family, Vikira Ben Sion Bezraya, and Ben Sion brought them in by force. Now, what the Gemara here is suggesting is that these were incorrect. First, the people that he distanced should not have been distanced, and the people that he brought close should not have been brought close. Kagoin Elu, regarding such types of things, Elio Balatami Elatar, Elio Anavi, when he comes, before Mashiach comes, he's going to make corrections to those. Those are absolute mistakes. He's going to correct them. He's going to make the impure, and purify the pure. Larachik, Lakar is going to bring close and distance. Those are regarding people that it was known that it was a mistake. It means that if they were pushed out and they shouldn't have been, or if they were in and everyone knew that they shouldn't be in, so Elio is going to clarify that. But a family that was just been lost, the question has been like already covered up. So nitma, it's been covered up. Elio is not going to budge it. Yeah. You don't have to worry that things are going to get uncovered, and if no one knows about it, it's fine. There's a brisa that says there's another, I guess it means another problem, another family that had a problem, but the Chacham didn't want to talk about it, didn't want to reveal. Once every 7 years, the Chachamim would announce to their students only that you should know that such a family you should avoid. And then they didn't say anything. And they hoped the media wasn't around. Some say that it was twice in 7 years. It's probable that it was only once in 7 years. So they try to do this less.
This is the only other place where the concept of 2 and 7 years appears, other than this isn't.
I don't know.
2 and 7 years is such a
right.
Twice
in 7 years means twice in the first year, or it's once in the third and once in the sixth.
But here it's not seeing it for the first time.
Yeah. Kedetanya, he says, Kedetanya was taught in the Brisa, Reini Nazir Mlayagala Mishpachis. I should be a Nazir if I don't announce the problematic families. That's his condition, the stipulation of how he's going to become a Nazir. You should be a Nazir and you shouldn't announce, which means that the sages did not want these things to be announced. If that's the case, it probably wasn't twice in 7 years, it was probably only once in 7 years. Amar Rabba Bar Barchanam Rabbi Yechanan, we started talking about things that were not revealed except to the students, and only so often. So Rabbi Bar Bachana says, name of Rabbi Yechanan, Shem ben Arba Isis Chacham Ma'israel Talmideim Pamachas B'Shavua. The way to pronounce the Yud Kei Vav Kei, the sages would only reveal it to their students once in 7 years. And some say that they would reveal it twice in 7 years. How you pronounce it? It's not how those Goyim witnesses come around, and nothing to do with that.
Is that tradition lost or something?
If you don't, yeah. When you look at the vowels under the Kevavke, the vowels are removed from the Shem Adnai, Aleph Dalet Nun Yud. The vowels are removed for that and put onto the Yud Kevavke. or the vowels of Elikim are pronounced the Yud Kei Vav Kei, but with the actual pronunciation of it itself, that we don't have.
What about the 42 letters?
That's coming up. That's coming up. Amar Rav Nachman bar Yitzchak. Rav Nachman Yitzchak says, "Mistaber command Amar Pamachas b'Shvua." Just like Rav Nachman Yitzchak said before, when it comes to those families, it probably wasn't twice in 7 years. It's probably only once in 7 years because the sages didn't want to reveal it. We even have a pasuk over here. It says, "This is my name forever." The only thing is, it doesn't say la'olam. It says li'olam, but if it says it without a vav, which la'alam ksiv, which alam means to be malim, which means to hide. This is my name to be hidden. Means it's just a proof that less often is more probable than more often. Yeah, that it doesn't get into. It doesn't get into why that. But if you have two opinions, it's probably the one that's less. Rava Sava Lemidrushe Bepirka. Rava, he wanted to teach the name in his drasha. Amalayu Saba. So this elder said, I think Daniel, I think that's probably Eliyahu Navi, right? It says this elder told him, La'alam Ksiv, says that it should be concealed. Rav Avina Rami, Rav Avina posed this as a contradiction. Ksiv Zeshmi, says this is my name. Ksiv, and also says Zezichri, this is my remembrance. Is it my name or is it my remembrance? Sounds like there's two different names. There's a name and there's a remembrance. So Amar Kadosh Baruch Hu, Hashem says, "Leikishani nichtav ani nikra." Not the way that I'm written. Am I called? Nichtav ani b'yudkei. I am written with the name Yudkei v'nikra b'alaf dalet, but I'm pronounced with the alaf dalet. In the Tilim, you have to be careful when you read it because sometimes it writes the Yudkei Vavkei, but it's actually referring to Elikim. Usually, when we say Yudkei Vavkei, we just say Shem Adnai. But sometimes you have to see the vowels. Now, just to clarify, the name, the aleph of Adnai has a patach. Okay. Look carefully; it's not really a patach; it's a chataf patach. It has a line with two dots on the side. Now, when you look at the Yud Kei Vav Kei, it doesn't have a patach under the yud. It only has a shva under the yud. Now the reason for that is because an aleph doesn't take a shva. Whenever there's a shva that's supposed to go under aleph, hey, or ches, it always turns it into a chataf. But really, in essence, it's really a shva, the two dots. So therefore, when you look at the yud kei vav kei, you're going to see shva and a chaylam above the hey. And then a kamatz under the vav, shva. So it's really, for us, it's like what happened to the ah sound. It's supposed to be ah, right? The vowels are the vowels, but really there is no ah in Adnai. Interesting. But the Yud Kei Vav Kei was pronounced in the temple, not the Adnai. They pronounced the Adnai in the temple. Outside the temple, yeah, okay. Eitan Rabbanan. Eitan Rabbanan. Started in a brisa. For Rishaina, originally, Shem ben Shtei Mesri Yosef say Yemaisin Meisel Chaladim. You have any notes on that? I have no clue what that is. The name of 12 letters was, everyone knew it. Once the Pritzim, people that were like uncareful about things, no inhibitions. They once they increased, so they gave it only to the people that were more secretive, modest people. And the modest people, the Kayanim that knew it, when they would pronounce it, they would hide it. They would let it get swallowed up when their brothers, the Kayanim, were singing. So in other words, in the harmony, they would pronounce it, but they wouldn't. It wouldn't be the solo. it would get absorbed into the harmony. Tanya Amar Reb Tarfon says, one time I went up to Duchen together with my Tarfon was a Kayan, and his uncle was a Kayan. His mother was also a Kayan. So he went up with his mother's brother. His mother doesn't Duchen, wasn't that progressive, but his mother's brother did Duchen. And Vitesi Azni Eitzel Kayan Gadol. And I listened to the Kayan Gadol. Shamati Shivliya Shem B'nima Sachav Kayanim. And I heard him pronounce the name in the getting absorbed with the harmony of the brothers, the other Kayanim that were. So you had to get close to be able to hear that. They do have a 12-letter name. What do they say?
He says Benima Seicha Batmanim is the name.
Yeah, is a 12-letter name.
That 12 letter?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10,
No,
11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. No, that's not 12 letters.
No. That this means this under the melody of the. This is 12 letters of the name.
Okay. Amar Rav Yehuda Amar Rav. Rav Yehuda says the name of Rav. Learn Hebrew. Okay. Amar Rav Yehuda Amar Rav. Rav Yehuda says the name of Rav. Shem ben Arba Mishtayim Meises. Meisen Meisa Ella. The 42-letter name of Hashem. Who just mentioned that? Jonathan, you just said. 42-letter name of Hashem is only given over Lamisha Tznuah V'anav. Only someone that's modest and humble. Omer B'chatzi Yamav. He has to be half his life. What does it mean, half his life nowadays? What does that mean, 90? Back then, I think it meant 35 because they lived till 70 was the average age. Right? Now it's no, not the Avis. The Avis was older. But, so Veina Kayas, he doesn't get angry. Veina Mishtaker, he doesn't get drunk. Veina Mamed al Midaisav, he's not vengeful. He doesn't take revenge. Anyone that knows this name, Bazarba, and is careful with it, Bamashami Batari, keeps it with purity. Of Lamaila, he's beloved above, and he's also cherished below. They must tell us Alabrius, and his fear is put over the creations. This means people listen to him. And he merits this world and the world to come, which means that the carefulness with this name gives him this special reward. I think in the Anabakayach it's supposed to be the acronyms after the Anabakayach. Anabakayach up there that we say in Havana. Before each tefillah we say Anabakayach. So if you look at the left column, no, it's 42. It's 6 lines. It's 7 lines of 6. Right? So Amar Shmuel Mishmei de Saba. Shmuel said the name of an old man, maybe Eliyahu Navi. Bavel b'cheskas ksheira imedes ad sheyidei alach b'ma nifsala. Everyone in Bavel is considered kosher until you know that they're not. Yeah. In other lands, it's considered not kosher until you find out how they are kosher. In Eretz Yisrael, it goes like this. Muchsak lipsal, if you know that it's a problem, then it's pasul. Muchsak lichshar, if you know that it's not a problem, then it's kosher. Okay, now, the Gemara says that you have a problem here because hagufa kasha. This itself is contradictory because Amrit muchsak lipsal. You said if you know that it's pasul, then it's pasul hastama, but if you don't know, then it's going to be kosher. Only if you know it's pasul is it going to be pasul. That implies that if you don't know, it's not a problem. Then it goes on, it says Vahadatani, and then it goes on, it says Muchsik lichshar. If it's known that it's kosher, then it's kosher. Ha'astama, but if you don't know, then it's puzzle. Is what we call the yukim saisrim, that you have contradictory implications. What's implied from the beginning contradicts what's implied from the second statement. Amar Rav Huna bar Tachlifa Mishmei Rav. Rav Huna bar Tachlifa says the name of Rav that like kasha, it's not a problem because kan la'siyisha kan lahitlisha miyad. It depends. Are you getting married or getting divorced? If you're getting married, then we consider it not kosher. You have to find out before you do the marriage. But if you want to say that, oh, I didn't look into this, and I should really separate because I didn't know this is that, we don't say that. We say it's acceptable. Once they're married, then you don't say because of a doubt they should separate.
That's given. I mean, if they're going to get divorced, it really doesn't make a difference. And if the guy wasn't raised Jewish, there was no marriage, so either way, there's no problem.
Are they saying that Jewish or it's just a shell of Jewish?
It doesn't have to do with Jewish. It has to do with the mom said.
In that case, they didn't want. They wanted divorce. So the divorce machine
No.
stops, right?
He wants to get divorced because maybe his wife doesn't have the right lineage. Not because they're fighting.
But he can do whatever he wants.
Right. So we tell him that because your wife doesn't have a verified lineage at this point, that's not a reason to get divorced. It's a reason why not to marry her in the first place. Once you're married, he can get divorced for whatever reason. She burnt the food. He can divorce her as well, whatever if he wants. But we tell him that it's not necessary. Right? Yeah. Well, Amar Rav Yosef. Rav Yosef says, how do you know someone's from Bavel? He says, Kol shasichate bebavel. What's that aleph? Kibavel. Anyone that his accent is about like a Babylonian, so Masiyan Layisha. You can marry, you can give him a wife to marry. We idna dikaramai, but now that we have people that are fakers, they know how to put on accents. So cheshina, and they have to suspect that maybe they're putting on the accent. Yeah, they speak, but it means that they it switches in Aramaic.
Whoa.
Someone mentioned the Bronx accent here. Okay.
I gotta tell you something. I have these arcade machines at home. I get up 4 or 5 years. So they have these fake fortune teller cards. Obviously, somewhere. So the other day, my wife picks up cards because my wife's always so much smarter than me. So it says in it, remind your wife when she thinks she's so smart that she's the one who married you. Not smart.
Yeah.
It was funny at the moment.
Zeiri havikamishtamet minei de Rabbi Yochanan. Zeiri was avoiding Rabbi Yochanan. The Haviyamale Nasiv Brati. Rabbi Yochanan was telling Zeiri, marry my daughter. So Zeiri was trying to avoid it. This could get very uncomfortable. He's a student of him. One time he's going on the road. Matul Urkame Demaya. They came to a stream of water. Does it add any more details to that? Just say a large puddle of water. Okay. Arkavela Rabbi Yochanan Akasve. So he takes Rabbi Yochanan and he puts him on his shoulder. Zeiri does. The Kamavrle, and he walks Rabbi Yochanan over the river, over the puddle. Amalei, so Rabbi Yochanan says, Araisan Ksheira, Bansan like Ksherin. My Torah is kosher, but my daughter is not. It means you're carrying me, but you won't marry her. My daitach, what are you thinking? Is it because you learned that it says that there's 10 types of lineage that came up from Bavel, Kainim and Levium, etc. And that means that there's going to be in the land of Israel, there's going to be people that are also Mamzerim. What do you think? When it says Kainim and Levium, you think that means that every single Kayin came, every single Levi came? We know that that's not what it is. So therefore, you think every single Mamzer came also? And there's none left? You think that you're so pure? Just like this Kayanim and Levium that were left in Babel, there's also Mamzerim and left in Babel. So you're not so much better than us. The only thing is, Rabbi Yochanan forgot what Rabbi Elazar says. It's very odd that Gemara should say this. Layala, especially Rabbi Elazar as a student. Layala Ezra mi Bavel ad shasok selas nekiya v'ala. Maybe it's Rabbi Eliezer. That would be different. Rabbi Eliezer. Rabbi Elazar. That he only came up until he made it. Ezra only came up after he made Eretz Yisrael. That's I have Rabbi Elazar also. Until he made it like a fine flour. There was no nothing, no what do you call the flour before it's sifted? No bran or something. Is that what it is? Bran? No. There's nothing. There's no any of the bad stuff left in it. That means that Ezra clarified Bavel. Means that Ziri had a point. Ula iklala pampadisa labei Rabbi Yehuda. Yeah.
So he never married her.
That's what it seems.
You drop him back in the puddle?
Ula went to Pampadisa to the house of Rabbi Yehuda, Rabbi Yehuda. Rabbi Yitzchak prayed to Rabbi Yehuda, the Gadol Bani Nasav. He sees that Rabbi Yitzchak, the son of Rabbi Yehuda, has already grown older and he's not married. He's already 13. I don't know. Okay. So Amalei, my time like Kaminsiv Lamar, it's a libre. How come he tells Rabbi Yehuda, how come you didn't find a wife for your son? Amalei, he says, Mi Yadana Mecha Ansiv, how am I supposed to know where to find a wife? Amalei Yatu Anan Mi Yadina Mecha Kasina. Do you think we know from where we come from? In other words, you're looking for yichus. You don't. How do you know where you come from? Maybe you come from. It says that when they destroyed the base of Migdash, it says that they raped the girls of Tzion, the virgins of the lands of the cities of Yehuda. Maybe you come from one of them. Well, maybe you'll say, don't worry about that, because even if that's the case, but a non-Jew that lives with a Jewish girl, the child is kosher anyway. It's a big deal. So maybe it comes from those people that it says they lay on their beds of Arisayim, I'm sorry. They lay on their beds of shane, means ivory, and they the sruchim, they're like rotting on their beds. Rabbi Yisrael says, this is people that urinate next to their beds when they're naked. I guess they wake up in the middle of the night. Olden days, they didn't really have pajamas. They would cover them, so they didn't have another set of clothes. So they slept under the sheet or whatever. But they would get up without getting dressed, and they would urinate in front of the bed. That wasn't supposed to be nice. Brought in Shulchan Aruch. Right. Magadith bu Rabavo, I'm sorry. Yeah. No, so that's machlekes. If you say that it is a mamzer, a Jew and a non-Jew, so then we understand what Ula was saying. But if it's not a mamzer, so then so then we understand what Rabbi Yehuda is saying. That he was, then we understand what Ula is saying. But if it's not a mamzer, then we understand Rabbi Yehuda that he's not finding a shidduch for his son because he doesn't know. Right, that one
generation later.
Yeah.
Here we are, we're Jewish. I don't know.
Exactly. What happens to that child that comes from a Jew and a non-Jew, that union? So there was a discussion in Yivamis if it's considered a mom. So we concluded that it's not. So, right, a Jewess. Right. 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 That makes sense. The Dilma, okay, so now it says Magadith bu Rabavo, like insults this pshat. He says, "Yachi eine de ksiv lachein ata yigalu breish goylem mishum de mashtina mayim v'fneim tzem arum yigalu breish goylem." And now it says that you're going to be exiled at the top, at the head of all the exiles. It says because they urinate in front of their beds, they're deserving of exile. Elam Rabavo says, no, you got the pshat wrong. These are the people that they eat together, eat and drink together. But they connect their beds together. And then they exchange their wives. And they make the bed smell from shich vazera, sperm that's not their own, because they're switching their wives. Amalei hechinavid. So Rabbi Yehuda says, "The Ula, what should I do? How can I find a wife?" He says, Amalei. He says, Zilbasir stikusa. You see who's more quiet. Kihai debadki b'nei marava. Yeah, you'll see in a second. Kihai debadki b'nei marava. This is what they would do in Eretz Yisrael. Kiminsu beitrei b'hadi adadi, when there were two families that were fighting. Chazu haiminai the kadam v'shas. See which one is quiet first. Amri haimi yochas tvei. The one that's quiet in an argument, that's the one that has better lineage. Amar Rav says tikusi de bavel haini yichusa. Says the silence of Bavel, that's its yichus. Aini, is that really so? Vitlo Rav lebei bar Shafi Chala, the house of Shafi Chala. This is someone that would suck vinegar with a straw. I don't know exactly, but it must have been some sort of business back then. What is it? No, it was an insult. I don't know if it's an insult. But when he checked, my love, how was he checking? The Yechusa, he was checking the lineage. What are you saying? He would check the grandmothers. It says Lai B'Shtikusa, he was checking it to see if they were quiet in an argument. Echi Kamerlahu. What did he do? The Duki Ishtuki Ishaski Leishaski. He examined if they were quiet or not quiet.
Just like with the Kohanim.
Remind me.
With the Kohanim, which would raise him.
But then we said, but that's not a proof because
in general.
Yeah. Amar Rav Yehuda Marav. Rav Yehuda says the name of Rav. I was told that that's the most common phrase in Chas. So this five words. Amar Rav Yehuda Amar Rav. So yeah, Rav Yehuda is a student of Rav. It says in Risa Shnei B'nei Adam Shemisgarim Zebazeh. If you see two people that are always arguing with one another, there must be a problem with one of their lineage. And Hashem is protecting the other one, that he shouldn't marry into that one. Now, which one is it? Oh, that's what they're arguing about. I'm Rabbi Shua ben Levi. Shua ben Levi says in Misa Shtei Mishpachish Shemaskar Sibasuk. You see two families that are arguing, not just two people. The Shemes Psol Yesh Batis Mem. There must be some sort of
Another word.
quarreling.
In conflict.
Family feud. Yeah, doesn't because that doesn't work. No, that because it has to come from the mother, and where's the yichus? Within the family itself, it can't be unless there was a different parent. That could happen. That's interesting. Yeah, Hillel's pointing out that Rabbi Shua ben Levi says different than Rabbi Yehuda Marav because people fight, but families to fight, then it must be a decree from heaven. Taunting. Okay. How do you find that? Like a synonym for so there must be a problem with one of them and not letting them connect to the other family in marriage. Amar Papa Saba Mishmei de Rav. Papa Saba says the name of Rav. Is the older of Papa. Rav Papa is much. The regular of Papa is much later. Papa the elder says the name of Rav. Bavel Bria. Bavel is healthy. That means that it's pure. Meishan, I don't know what that is in English. That's another country. Misa is death. That means that they're all mamzerim. The whole nation is mamzerim. Madai, media, is chayla, that's sick. Sick means that majority are kosher, but there's a problem. Just like when someone's sick. Yes, what is yes? It's a sore throat. Okay, most of his body's healthy, but they have one problem. Elam is gaiseses. Elam is on his deathbed. That means majority is not healthy. Everything is failing, right? Ma bein chayla and gaisesin. What's the difference between sick, between ill and on the deathbed? Reiv chayla l'chayim. Most people that are sick, they live. Reiv gaisesin l'mis. Most people that are multiple problems, failing everything, so they end up dying. I guess everyone ends up dying, but from this. Adhechani Bavel. Okay, now the following Gemara is, in one way it's easy, in one way it's very hard. It's what does Al-Khanan say? I'm planning on living forever. So far it's going quite well. So anyway, so this Gemara, we don't really know like where these places are. So I mean, if you were in Bavel, this would be an interesting Gemara. For us, it's just how far is Bavel? We know that people that live in Bavel are pure, and you don't have to check the lineage. You just you're from Bavel, okay? Let me hear you talk. Okay, you have the accent, okay? So we can get married. That's you don't have to like bring documents and everything and all of that. How far does Bavel go? This is villages and all of this. How far is Bavel? Rav Amrad Nar Azak. Rav says until Nar Azak. Shmuel Amrad Nar Yuni, until the river Yuni. Le'el b'diglas ad hecha. Le'el probably means below the Tigris. Diglas means it. How far down the Tigris does it go? Or under the Tigris? Rav Amrad Bagda v'Avna. Rav says until these two places. And Shmuel Amrad Mashchani v'B'lei Mashchani b'chlal. Shmuel says until Mashchani, but not including Mashchani. Mashchani is like Goyla. Goyla would mean Bavel. It's like Pumpadisa. So it should be included. Elad Mashchani B'chlal until Mashchani, including Mashchani. Well, you have a map over there?
Yeah, just right now it shows Meishan, which is the bottom of Iran.
Oh.
Right above the Persian Gulf.
Wait.
I don't know where it is now.
Okay. But Tachtis Begila, the Diglas ad Hecha.
No, it's not Kuwait. It's northeast of Kuwait.
The north of the Tigris. How far up does it go? Rav Shmuel ad Apamya Tata, until the lower Apamya. Tarti Apamyan. There were two Apamyan. Chada Ilis v'Chada Tataisa. Elisa, one is upper one, one's a lower one. Chada Ksher v'Chada Psula. Vein Chada l'Chada Parsa. Between the two is a parsa. Parsa is how many amas? Is that 3 mil, 4 mil? I don't remember how big a parsa is. And each mil is 2,000 amas. So there's a certain amount of miles in between these two apamyas.
So is this how large Bavel is, or is this where the Yidden spread out?
This is until you can be sure that everything until there is pure.
Yeah, that's how far the Yidden
right.
can do it. Bavel is a country. Right.
The Kapti Adadi, these two apamyas were so particular with each other. They wouldn't even take a fire one from the other. Why? They didn't want to get close. They want to end up marrying. Simanach. And if you want to remember how the Psulta, the Mishtoi Mishnas. The one that speaks like Meshan, one that's closer to Meshan, that's the one that's more problematic. Le'el de Parasad, how much below the Euphrates does Bavel go? Rav Amrad Akra. I think it means inward. It means inward, but Yeah. But
I would think up.
yeah, but because the Euphrates is flowing from up down, so it calls it further. It calls it further from the Euphrates. I think it means below. Or actually, it may be me to the west.
You want this map? This shows Euphrates, Tigris, and even shows all the yeshivas.
Oh, okay, I see. Euphrates and the Tigris. Okay, but I'm not going to see these places. I'm not going to see the places. Anyway, it says over here, Ad Akra de Tulbanki. I don't know what that is. Until Akra de Tulbanki. Shmuel Amar Ad Gishra de Beit Pras, until the Gishra, I think, means the bridge of Beit Pras. He's adding, Shmuel is saying further, that he extends it more than Rav. Rabbi Yechon Amar Ad Mabra de Gizma. Rabbi Yechon says until the bridge of Gizma. Layat Abaya became Rabbi Yosef ad Rav. Abaya cursed, or some say it was Rabbi Yosef, what Rav said. Ad Rav layat ad Shmuel loy layat. You said that it's in other words, it was too far. It was he made it too broad. He says only Rav and not Shmuel. Ela layat ad Rav Koshkin ad Shmuel. It was for sure, according to Shmuel, was too lenient. Maybe it was only cursing what Rav said, but not what Shmuel said, because the Gishra de Beit Pras, when Shmuel said Gishra de Beit Pras, that was further in. It was closer. The Leva Parsai. Now the Persians have taken that area. Interesting. The Hill is saying that it wasn't that he said it was talking about Rav. It was just in Abaya's generation, he wasn't accepting Rav's view. As time went on. Amalei Abayla Rav Yosef, Lahai Gisa de Prasad Hecha. On this side of the on the west side of the Pras, how far does it go? Amalei Maitai Tach Misham Beiram. What are you worried about? Worried about Beiram? Are you asking about Beiram? Miachsi de Pumbedisa mi Beiram Nasri. All the good people of Pumbedisa, they married wives from Beiram. Amra Papa Machlekas Liuchs and Kach Machlekas Lenin Gittin. When it comes to a get, you have to say the words the funny nechtam, funny nechtam. In front of me, it was written. In front of me, it was signed. If you bring a get from outside of Eretz Yisrael, the Gemara said that Bavel is like Eretz Yisrael. So Bavel itself, you don't have to say that. So just like over here, we just had a machlekes regarding Yuchsin, regarding lineage. What is the parameter of Bavel? That machlekes exactly applies to Gittin. At which point do you have to start saying b'fanei nechta if you're coming from outside there into Bavel? That's the Rav Papa's view. Rav Yosef machlekes liuchsan abel Gittin divrei kol ad arba tinyan and Gishra until the second boat of the bridge. I guess they had a bridge that was made out of boats. So Rav Yosef says that for Gittin we have another measurement. Amar Rami bar Abba, Chavel Yama, Chilta de Bavel. The place Chavel Yama, that's the best part of Bavel, most pure. Shunya v'Guvya Chilta de Chavel Yama. In Shunya and Guvya, this is the best part of Chavel Yama. Ravina Amraf Tzitzura. Ravina says even Tzitzura is also. Okay, I don't know what these places are, but the names of places. Tani Nami Hachi Chanan bar Ben Pinchas Amar Chavel Yama Chilta de Bavel. Shunya v'Guvya Tzitzura Chilta de Chavel Yama. And he combined them all together, this Chanan bar Pinchas, including Ravina's view. Amar Rav Papa. Rav Papa says, but now the Kutim have mixed into there, and you have to be careful when you marry for their V'laihi. But the truth is that's not true. Because Itzehu de Boy Minaya V'layavalai. The Kutim wanted to marry a woman from there, but they didn't end up giving. It's not that they mixed in, they wanted to mix in. Rashi says a pshat over here, which he rejects. Some say that Rav Papa wanted to marry someone from there, and they didn't want him to marry, so he therefore said that they're not kosher. And Rashi says that's a very difficult shot. He doesn't want to say that. My Chaval Yama, what is Chaval Yama? Rav Papa Zupras de Bursi. This is the Euphrates of Bursi. Who Gavra? Go further. Yeah, I don't know what these places are anyway. So, who Gavra Damalu Anam in Shut Meshet? Person that says, I come from Shut Meshet. Amar Rav Yitzchak Nafchal Ragav Amar Shut Meshet Ben Nahana Naharis Imedas. Shut Meshet, Rav Yitzchak Nafchal stands on his feet. He says, Shut Meshet is between the rivers. Which sounds like it's all good. What does he mean that it's between the rivers? If it's between the rivers, then it's like Pumpadisa for
It's North Miami Beach. That's what we want.
between the rivers means Mesopotamia. But anyway, Vehecha Kaima, where is this place? Amar Rabbi Yochanan Me'ihi Dekira Ulael. It's from E Dekira and further on. Amar Rabbi Yochanan Ad Mabarta de Gizma. Rabbi Yochanan said that Bavel only goes until this bridge of Gizma. Amar Rabbi Ritzu Nafka. Yeah, in general it only goes till there, but there was one strip of land that went further than that, and that included this other E Dekira. Amar Avika Baravin. Amar Rab Chanan al Marav Chilazain Nahavid. This river Nahavid Chilazin, I think means river. Is that correct? Is like Pumpadisa regarding lineage. Amalei Abaya Leitzitzisulei. I'm sorry. Yeah, that's what it looks like. Abaya says, don't listen to him. Yavama hu denaflei hasam. He has a Yavama from there, and therefore, Amalei Yata Didihi. Is it my statement? Rav Chananel. It's really Rav Chananel's statement. Azal Shalu Rav Chananel. They asked Rav Chananel, Amalu Achi Amarav Chilaz and Navar Liachsen. It's a acceptable place. Okay, let's leave it over here. Chalzain.
Yeah, that makes
What's that? Chalzain means it's an Aramaic word probably for river.
Yeah.